charine nirvishesha shunyavadi paschatadishatarine. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttamadatamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Tanvidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saritam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Shri Vishakam Vidamsha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vairascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, we discuss divine qualities that Krishna told Arjuna in 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
Haribo, Hare Krishna.
But today is also the appearance day of Ramanujacharya, one of the greatest acharyas of course, Sri Sampradaya, who very much influenced also our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya by his teachings. So we'll try to combine both a little bit. Ramanujacharya appeared in 1017 to a very devoted Brahmana named Keshavacharya, who prayed to the Lord for a son, for a godly son, and he received Ramanujacharya, who was from his birth extremely exalted personality, and he excelled in his studies. And later on he studied under Yadava Prakash, who was actually a Mayavadi. And Ramanuja couldn't tolerate the Mayavad philosophy of his own guru. And he opposed him many times, and therefore Yadava Prakash later on even plotted against Ramanujacharya and wanted to kill him in some pilgrimage. And once, Hare Krishna, once Ramanuja was asked by Dhanurdas, one of his disciples, about Vibhishan from Ram Lila. You know that now it's approaching Ram Navami. So he said that Vibhishan surrendered to the Lord with pure heart, and therefore Ram accepted him. But what is our position? How can we hope to be accepted by the Lord because we don't have such pure hearts as Vibhishan had? And Ramanuja Acharya answered him, yes, we may not have pure heart, but Vibhishan had 4 associates when he surrendered to Lord Ram along with him. And these associates didn't have pure heart as Vibhishan had. But Lord Ramachandra also accepted them because they were accompanying Vibhishan. So this is our position. If we are accompanying some great personality, like our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and surrender to his lotus feet, by his surrender, Krishna will accept us also. If we are sincere in our surrender, although we have so many imperfections still. Yes. And it is important to understand that there are 2 items that Lord Chaitanya accepted from Ramanuja Sampradaya. And first is pure devotional service. Yes, Ananya Bhakti. And we discussed a little bit yesterday about pure devotional service. How important it is to embrace pure devotional service in our life. And we discussed yesterday how one may think how it's possible for me to perform pure devotional service since I'm impure. But we should know something very well, that our sadhya, or our goal, is dependent on our sadhana, what we practice. So if we will not practice pure devotional service, we will never achieve the goal of pure devotional service. Yes. We will achieve some mixed goal. And we don't want to achieve this. Yes. So our desire should be for pure devotional service. Yes. Our desire should be pure, unalloyed bhakti. And we pray to the Lord, please help me to get rid of all these impurities in my heart, of all these unwanted desires that I carry in my consciousness. Please help me to serve you with pure heart. This is very important that we have such an attitude, a helpless attitude, because what is in our power? It's nothing we can do actually, except surrender. Surrender to Krishna. So this surrender is most important, this type of consciousness that I'm helpless and my only hope is that I surrender. First, of course, to surrender to our spiritual master and surrender to Krishna also. We also should have this desire to directly surrender to Krishna. Yes. Because our Guru is teaching us how to surrender to Krishna directly. So both is needed to surrender to our spiritual master, who should be considered non-different in Krishna, and at the same time also as intimate associate of Krishna, and that we surrender to Krishna directly, and Radha and Krishna directly. Yes. So, yes, this lila with Vibhushan, Vibhishan, not Vibhushan. Vibhishan is very important because, as we started to explain, that Lord Chaitanya accepted 2 things: pure devotional service, and the other is service to the devotees. from Ramanuja Sampradaya. And he very much stressed that we can achieve perfection by chanting of the holy names of the Lord, and that we should avoid offenses against the holy names. And because service to the devotees is so central focus point of Ramanuja Sampradaya, and because Lord Chaitanya accepted this also of our Sampradaya, he stressed very much that that offenses against devotees are completely detrimental for our spiritual life. So when he explained these offenses, he pointed out that many different things. For example, that Sita, when she asked Lord Ram to go after this golden deer, when Marisha turned under the instruction of Ravana to the golden deer, and when Sita saw the golden deer, she wanted to have it, and she asked Lord Ram to go and get it for her. And Shri Gandhita ki, Shri Radha Parisisvara ki, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. And so Ram went as good husband to please his wife. He went after this golden deer to catch it. But when he shot an arrow to this deer, then Maricha knew how to create havoc, and he started to shout, "Please Ram, please Lakshman, help me," with the same, exactly the same voice as Lakshman had. And of course Lakshman immediately knew that this is some hoax. This is not Ram calling him. But Sita, in the mood of this intimate love, couldn't understand that this is just some demon pretending to call Lakshman. And she thought that this is really her dear husband is in danger. And she asked Lakshman, "Please go and help Ram. He needs your help." At that time, Lakshman said to her, "Ram doesn't need any help from me. He's perfectly well. This must be some demon trying to lure me away from you, because Ram ordered me to stay with you and protect you. So this is just a trick." But then Sita very harshly spoke to Lakshman. She said, "Yes, now I understand your intention, why you went with us to the forest. You just waited for some opportune moment that you can get rid of Ram and enjoy me." This was more deadly arrow to the heart of Lakshman than any arrow of any demon, possibly. Because his whole life was dedicated for the benefit of Sita and Ram. And he never even looked Sita in her face. He was just watching at her feet. And he revered Sita as his most object of his worship, not as object of his enjoyment. So, and then Ramanujacharya explained that because of this offense to Lakshman, Sita had to spend 10 months amongst the Rakshasas. Yes. So, if this offense can apply to Sita, what we can speak about us? So how we should be careful not to commit offenses against devotees. Yes. And actually, to make an offense, to find fault at someone, doesn't need one to be great personality. Everyone can find fault all the time with other people. Actually, there was once a Catholic bishop from South America who said that this gossip shouldn't be counted as sin in Catholic Church because everyone is gossiping. So it's impossible to avoid it. So it shouldn't be counted as sin. Yes. So we should understand that this gossiping is nectar to the heart for conditioned soul. There's no higher nectar than gossiping. Everyone is gossiping all the time in material world. You just hear people what they speak. It's just gossiping about someone else. Usually, of course, they don't speak something nice about others. Yes. So this gossip is detrimental for our spiritual life. We should understand this. Yes. So we should be so careful about offenses against devotees. And there was another instance of offense against Lakshman again. And do you know who committed an offense? Very, very famous personality also. Not so famous as Sita, but another famous personality. Sorry? Hanuman? No. Hanuman didn't commit an offense. But someone who looked similarly like Hanuman. No. It was Dvivida. Dvivida, famous Dvivida. Do you know who is Dvivida? From Krishna Lila?
Yes.
Yes. He was a demon in Krishna Lila because of his offense to Lakshman. As he was devoted to Ram, he was very much helpful in Ram's mission of conquering Lanka. He helped very vigorously to build a bridge to Lanka, but he disrespected Lakshman. He was thinking, what is Lakshman? He doesn't do anything. He's useless. He wanted to take only shelter of Ram. So this is very important instruction because Lakshman is Guru Tattva. So if you want to just take shelter of Krishna without surrendering to Guru, our life will be destroyed. We'll turn to a demon, actually. Yes. And we'll try to create havoc for our Guru. Because we will see Vivida in his Krishna Lila created havoc to Balaram. Yes. He disrespected the gopis that were playing with Ram, and he completely disregarded Ram himself. Yes, Balaram. And and then he fought with Lord Balaram very vigorously until Balaram took pity on him and gave him a final blow and so saved his soul. Yes. So we should be very careful about these offenses. Yes. And this abhayam, we discussed yesterday, this first quality that Krishna mentions in 16th chapter, in the beginning of 16th chapter, abhayam, fearlessness. It's very much expressed by Vibhishan also, because Ravan was extremely powerful personality. He conquered Indra, he conquered practically all the demigods. He was extremely powerful, but although he was so powerful, Vibhishan was not afraid to tell him the truth, that Sita is Ram's consort, and please give her back to Ram, because otherwise we all will be destroyed. And not only Vibhishan told him so, but practically everyone who spoke with Ravan, everyone told him the same. Give Sita back to Ram. You'll destroy us. Everyone will be destroyed by you if you don't give Sita back. Even when before Ravan kidnapped Sita, he went to Maricha, and Maricha encountered Ram one time before, because Vishwamitra Muni took Ram and Lakshman to the forest and to fight against demons who came regularly to desecrate the yagya for the Lord. And Maricha was one of these demons, and Subahu. There were two demons, and there are two different versions. Ram shot an arrow in Maricha, and the other is that he threw a kusha grass. But the result was the same. Maricha flew 100 yojanas away into the ocean. and he realized that Ram is not an ordinary personality. His supreme personality of Godhead himself, and if anyone wants to fight against Ram, he will be destroyed. And so he said to Ravana, please don't play with Ram. He's too powerful personality, and don't try to steal Sita from him, because he will destroy you. I have experience, and since I have experienced this I encountered Lord Ram, I always live in fear of Lord Ram. So he was terribly afraid of Ram, and he was meditating upon Lord Ram day and night in great fear, terror. It's interesting because his Krishna consciousness or Ram consciousness made him fearful instead of fearless. Yes. And the same was also with some other personality. Can you remember which personality was always afraid?
Kamsa.
Kamsa. Yes, Kamsa is a famous example of fear. Yes. He said, Gopya kamat bhayat kamso veshachadhyadyo vinipaha sambandat vishnayak snehat yuyam bhaktya vayam vibho. That the gopis attained Krishna by lust, so-called lust. It's pure love, actually. And Kamsa by fear, attained Krishna by fear. And Shishupal attained Krishna by hatred. By hatred. Very interesting method of attaining Krishna. By hatred. And Vrishnis by their love as a family member. By Sneha. And Narada Muni explained, and we have attained Krishna by Bhakti Yoga. So this is our process also, to attain Krishna by Bhakti. But then this is very interesting verse. This is from 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Katamopi pinavenakshyat panchanam purusham prati tasmat kenapi upanam mana Krishna niveshaye. Although Shishupala attained Krishna by hatred, although Kamsa by fear, and so on, but Vena, who also hated the Lord, famous King Vena, do you know who was King Vena? Yes, he was a ferocious son of King Anga. King Anga was very pious king, very dedicated to the Lord. But he was married to a daughter of death personified. And so it is said that sons acquire the nature of their mother's father, and daughters attain the nature of her father's mother. So this King Vena, the son of pious King Anga, acquired the nature of his mother's father, who was death personified. And so he was extremely cruel from his birth. When he played with his friends, for fun he killed them. Yes. And King Anga tried very hard to rectify his son, Vena, but he couldn't. Nothing could help him. Punishment or nice treatment, nothing helped to rectify King Vena. So Anga was so frustrated at the end that he thanked the Lord. Yes, this was your mercy, my Lord, because if I would receive a good son, I would be so attached that I wouldn't surrender from my heart to you. So then one night he just left the kingdom, and then this cruel Vena took over, and Vena hated the Lord, and Shishupal also hated the Lord. But this verse that I quoted says that Vena didn't attain Krishna, but he went to hell. Why was this difference between Vena and Shishupal? Sorry?
Shishupal was a devotee of Lord, the Jai of.
Yes, he was, we can say that he was eternal associate from Vaikuntha, but Vena wasn't. But this was not the point of Srimad Bhagavatam. Although it is
Vena made Vishnu offenses. He killed the Brahman, tortured the Brahman.
Very good try. Any other thought?
Not thinking of Krishna all the time, because Shishupal, even he hated Krishna, in his mind Krishna was all the time present, but maybe that is not the case in the king, you know?
Exactly, yes. Shishupal was absorbed in thinking of Krishna. He couldn't think anything other than Krishna. From morning till evening, he always just blasphemed Krishna. Yes. He couldn't think of anything else, just Krishna. But Vena didn't. was not absorbed in Krishna. She was just hateful towards God, as so many people are. But he was absorbed in some other thoughts about his enjoyment or anything else, about his power. So he himself was the center of his thoughts, not the Lord. But not in that was not the case in the Shishupala's case, because he was completely absorbed in Krishna. He couldn't think of himself. He thought only of Krishna. How terrible personality is Krishna. So this is also instructive for us, that if we want to see faults, Krishna will help us see faults. King Shishupal find faults even with Krishna, who is completely faultless. But Krishna showed him unlimited faults, that he could repeatedly blaspheme Krishna 24 hours a day, every day. You must be very creative. Even if you want to blaspheme some really bad person, you have to be creative to blaspheme someone all the time, 24 hours a day. So Krishna showed Shishupal so many faults. Even within Krishna, and he really believed what he spoke. It wasn't just something that he wouldn't believe himself. Yeah. So he really believed that Krishna is completely bad personality, and it's craziness from everyone else that they glorify Krishna. Yes.
Est-ce que je pourrais donner une question parce que je pourrais aller et j'écoute sur Skype, YouTube. И don't understand.
If you would like to ask a question, можете на русском, если что сказать, я переведу.
Вы сказали, что
Because he has to go.
что и Шишупала, и нет, что с помощью
Vibhishan.
вы достигли Кришну.
You have mentioned that Shishupal and Vibhishan, someone else who used hatred in order to reach Krishna.
Но
Kamsa was afraid. Yes.
У Камсы был страх.
да. И в Шримад Бхагаватам Шрила Прабхупада объясняет, что достичь Кришны можно посредством только преданного служения.
At the same time, Srila Prabhupada has purported in Srimad Bhagavatam that you can reach Krishna by pure devotional service only.
То есть что мы имеем в виду, когда говорим достигли Кришны?
So just in order to reconcile it in the head, so in the case of hatred or fear, what do we mean by saying reaching Krishna?
Потому что освобождение это еще не значит, что ты будешь с Кришной.
Was it some type of the mukti? But does like mukti have 5 times? Doesn't mean that you will be with Krishna.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Very nice question. Yes, the process of attaining Krishna is, of course, pure devotional service. It's bhakti. It's not hatred. It's not the process to attain Krishna. But the main point why here Bhagavatam is explaining that there are different personalities that have attained Krishna, and also Narada Muni glorifying demons in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam because of their absorption in Krishna, is that if one develops deep emotions towards Krishna, whatever these emotions are, that emotions will attach us to Krishna very much, even if they are negative emotions. And therefore, Narada Muni explains that these demons are so glorious because they can see Krishna approaching them on Garuda with chakra in his hand. When will I see such a scene? I have no opportunity to see such things. Yes. So this is one point. And the other point is that absorption in Krishna purifies one's heart, knowingly or unknowingly. Om apavitra pavitro va sarvavastanga va yaksmarit pundarikaksham sarvakya pyantara shuchiri. It's explained in this mantra that remembering Krishna, lotus-eyed Krishna, one gets purified from within and without. So yes, the destiny of majority of these demons is Sayujya Mukti, as you said, that they attained this impersonal liberation. But actually, Brahman is also non-different from Krishna. Vadanti tat tattva vidam tattvam yat jnanam atvayam brahmati paramatmati bhagavaniti shapnati. Yes, there is one advaya jnana, one absolute reality, which is one can say, which is manifested in three features as Bhagavan, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And Brahman is one of the feature of Krishna, so it's non-different than Krishna himself. So even if one attains Sayujya Mukti, of course, which is not desirable for devotees, even they say it's worse than hell for a devotee, Sayujya Mukti. Still, it's Krishna himself, but robs one of devotional service, of active devotional service. Of course, we cannot give up devotional service. We cannot give up service because it's our constitutional nature. So everyone is serving Krishna helplessly, knowingly or unknowingly, either materialists or impersonalists or devotees. Everyone is serving Krishna all the time, 24 hours a day, the whole existence. We cannot help than just serve Krishna. We have no other position in life. So even if one attains Sayujya Mukti, he also serves Krishna unknowingly as a spark of Krishna's splendor. Yes, an insignificant spark of Krishna's splendor. Yes. But of course, this is not desirable position for a devotee. So if you want to achieve Krishna in loving mood, then only pure devotional service is the process of achieving Krishna. Yes. So yes, I hope this answers your question. Hare Krishna. Yes. So oh no, it's nearly 9 o'clock and we haven't moved to the other quality. So yes, my point was in today's class more about offenses and how to absorb our consciousness, and about Ramanuja. I wanted to speak something about Ramanuja Acharya also, because it's his appearance day. And yes, we can speak something about him still. So, Ramanujacharya wanted to take initiation from Yamunacharya, who was one of the great acharyas also. And when he left the school of Yadava Prakash, his Mayavad guru, who wanted to kill him, he went to Rameshwar to meet Yamunacharya. But in the outskirts of Rameshwar, he saw that people were mourning very much, and they were carrying some body. And then he realized that this was Yamunacharya, and he couldn't take initiation from him. Just few moments before he entered Rameshwar. So he was devastated. And then later on, he took initiation from one of the disciples of Yamunacharya, what was his name? Anyone knows? Mahapurna. Yes, he was Mahapurna. He was sent by the disciples of Yamunacharya to initiate actually Ramanujacharya. And Ramanujacharya also wanted to take initiation from him. So he went from home towards Rameshwar, and this Mahapurna went from Rameshwar to the village of Ramanujacharya, to both with the same intention to initiate. When they met in some village out in the outskirts of this Kanchipuram, actually, Ramanujacharya asked Mahapurna, please initiate me immediately, because who knows what will happen. And he said, okay, we can go to Vadaraj in Kanchipuram before the Lord, and we can make proper ceremony there for initiation. But Ramanuja said, death has its plans. Who knows when one will die? So please initiate me immediately. He didn't want to experience another occasion like it was before with Yamunacharya. So Mahapurna immediately initiated him. And so it happened once, even before this initiation take place, there was one great personality who also lived in Kanchipuram. It was called Kanchipurna, himself the same name practically. And he was very devoted to Lord Varadaraj. He was fanning him, and he was famous to be speaking with the Lord personally. And one time Ramanuja wanted to get the remnants of prasad from Varadaraj, from Kanchipurna, and he invited him for a lunch. And Kanchipurna knew this, and when he saw that Ramanuja left home, he immediately came to the door and asked the wife for prasad, because he's in a hurry to worship the Lord, and the Lord cannot wait. So he asked her to give him this prasad immediately. And so he took prasad in the house and then left with his plate before Ramanuja returned. And then when Ramanuja returned, he asked, the wife told him that Kanchipurna came in a great hurry and already took prasad. And Ramanuja asked, and what did you do with Mahaprasad, with his what left from the food? and she said, I gave it to some Shudra woman, because it's not proper for you to take prasad from a Shudra, so I gave this prasad to a Shudra. And I prepared new prasad for you. And Ramanuja was devastated. He said, you foolish woman. I was waiting for this prasad all my life. And you cheated me of this mercy. And we know from Chaitanya Lila how this prasad of the devotees is extremely powerful in receiving mercy. There was a devotee of Lord Chaitanya called Kalidas, who was regularly eating prasad of every devotee in Bengal. Although he was a Brahmana, he regularly visited all different types of devotees, even from Shudra background, and gave them bhoga to offer to Krishna and take prasad, and then he asked for the remnants of their prasad. But it so happened many times that the Shudras, by social status, didn't want to give them their own prasad because it's offensive, they consider it offensive. But then Kalidas quoted verses from Shastra, how prasad of the devotees is most pure, it's not contaminated, and so on. And even if Shudra takes, no one should be considered Shudra if he's a devotee, and so on. And these devotees agreed, yes, this applies for a devotees, but we are not devotees ourselves, so this cannot apply for us. So, not to embarrass them, he waited hidden for their prasad. For example, he gave one mango, and when they ate mango, they threw pills on this garbage pit. And then he took these pills and sucked on them himself to get this Mahaprasad. And then he went to Jagannath Puri, and where Mukunda, who was Lord Chaitanya's servant, he washed the feet of Lord Chaitanya before Lord Chaitanya went to the temple. And Kalidas came and put his hands under the feet of Lord Chaitanya, and he collected this water and drank it. And this was strictly forbidden for everyone to even touch this water, what to speak of drinking it. Lord Chaitanya would become furious if someone would try to take this water from his feet. But he didn't object when Kalidas drank this water, not just touch it, but he drank this water. And then he put his hands the second time, and he drank the second time, and then the third time. Then the Lord Chaitanya said, now it's enough. You have received enough mercy. And then all the devotees took prasad, and he specially instructed that his prasad should be given to Kalidas. Yes. So it's so important to understand what is the power of Mahaprasad of the devotees, remnants of Mahaprasad, the devotees lead. So yes, Ramanuja wanted to get this Mahaprasad so desperately, but he was cheated of it. We don't have so much time. So Ramanuja spread this consciousness of, we can say, Lord's consciousness all over India very much, and he encountered many opposition. Once he was threatened by some king who was Shaivite to kill him, and he summoned Ramanujacharya to his court. But so Ramanuja had to flee from Rameshwar, and his disciple Dasharati, whose story is also very interesting, and his own guru Mahapurna went to this court, and there Dasharati was disguised as Ramanujacharya. So they were thinking that this is Ramanuja. And this king wanted Ramanuja to sign the document that Shiva is greater than Vishnu. But the thing is that there is also some weight measurement in India. I don't know if people are still familiar with these measurements for weight. That there is one measurement of weight called Shiva, and there is also one other measurement called Drona. And Drona is heavier than Shiva. And when this document was given to so-called Ramanujacharya to sign that Shiva is greater than Vishnu, this Dasharati wrote, even Drona is greater than Shiva. As this joke. First, the king was thinking, yes, that he's signing the document, but then when he read what Dasharati wrote, he was extremely angry, furious, and he plucked the eyes of Dasharati and of Mahapurna and blinded them. And Mahapurna, the guru of Ramanuja, was old at that time, so because he couldn't tolerate such a pain, he just left his body. But Dasharati was very grateful actually to his tormentors and thanked them from the core of his heart for this intimate service to his guru. He gave his guru something insignificant and as his eyes, and received something invaluable, some intimate service to his guru. So it's very important to take example from Dasharati, who was extremely famous scholar. Yes. And there is also some other story with Dasharati, which happened before this occasion. Dasharati wanted to know from Ramanujacharya about the secret purport to the verse Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja from Bhagavad Gita. And since Dasharati was his nephew of Ramanujacharya, he sent him to Goshtipurna, one of the disciples of Yamunacharya, and he said to him that he should get this instruction from him. And then happened that Goshtipurna didn't want to give him this instruction just immediately, because he knew that he's a famous scholar. So he wanted to teach him some humility. And so he kept him there for 6 months, and he didn't tell him anything about this verse. And then after 6 months of waiting, he sent him back to Ramanujacharya and said, "Your guru will tell you everything." And then when Dasharati came back to Ramanujacharya and just explained him what happened, it so happened that daughter of his of one of his associates, actually of Mahapurna, of his guru, came to Ramanujacharya with complaint that in her in-laws' house she's being very mistreated, and that her mother-in-law wants her to work very hard and walk very far to fetch water every day, and that she's very much afraid because she has to do it in early in the morning in darkness, and that she mistreats her very much. And when he tells her that to her mother-in-law that this is too much, she's very severely chastised. So Ramanujacharya said, "No problem. I just have this Brahmana boy here that he can help you with cooking. So take him home and he will be your servant, actually." And this was this great Dasharati, famous scholar, who was famous all over India, actually, for his scholarship. And then so happened that he faithfully was cooking and carrying this water for this lady. And once he heard one great teacher, Digvijay, some sort of, was preaching some Mayavad philosophy. And he couldn't stand this. And he stopped with a bucket of water and said to this preacher that he's speaking nonsense, actually. And then this Mayavad preacher became furious. "How can you, Shudra, teach me, great Digvijay, great scholar, what is proper philosophy and what is not?" But Dasharati was a very famous orator, so he could speak very well. So he spoke about proper philosophy with such eloquent words and quoting different shastras and so on, that everyone was astounded. How is this possible? This Shudra can speak so nice philosophy. And even this speaker realized that this is some very special personality. And he surrendered actually to him as his guru. And then he asked him, "What is your name?" And he said, "I'm Dasharati." And then everyone was astounded. What this Dasharati, famous Dasharati, is working like a Shudra here for some crazy mother-in-law. And so they all gathered together and went to Ramanujacharya to ask him to relieve from such insignificant service of this great disciple of his, as Dasharati. So this same Dasharati gave his eyes for his guru. Yes, and he was completely fearless, because we discussed this first quality of that Krishna explains in 16th chapter, is fearlessness. If one takes shelter of Krishna or his guru, then anything that can happen to us is we consider just Krishna's mercy. Um, that Krishna helps us to take shelter of him more sincerely. Even if we lose our eyes, it's insignificant what we get from Krishna and from our Guru if we take shelter so sincerely. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Just sorry that because you told the story of Australia. I have heard similar story with the name Quresh. I just wanted to confirm it's Prasarati and Quresh. It just has two names. Same person.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. It was Quraysh and it was not Dasharat in this case.
Because
Yes,
I
it was
thought
my
maybe
mistake.
two names.
Yes. Quraysh was the other disciple of Ramanujacharya, who was actually a small king, was a landowner of some part of the land. Yes. So yes, thank you very much.
Because I thought maybe he had two
Yes,
names.
yes. It's true. It was Quraysh. But the point is the same. That if we sacrifice to our Guru, sacrifice to Krishna, we'll consider everything as Krishna's mercy, even if it is seemingly something painful or harmful for our existence. Yes. So yes, this was Quraysh, another great personality. There were so many great personalities in the time of Ramanujacharya. But we
I
don't
have a question, Prabhu.
Yes.
And day before yesterday, I was reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the scenario was how Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami was getting mercy from Lord Chaitanya. And there is one verse Srila Prabhupada described here. I'm just reading it. An actual Vaishnava is very pleased to accept another Vaishnava who is bestowing the Lord's mercy. A mundane person in the dress of a Vaishnava should not be respected but rejected. This is enjoined in the Shastra, Upeksha. The word Upeksha means neglect. One should neglect an envious person. A preacher's duty.
I didn't catch you. One should
Neglect. Yeah. One should neglect an
Yes.
envious person.
envious person.
Yeah,
Yes.
a preacher's duty is to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead, make friendship with Vaishnavas, show mercy to the innocent, and reject or neglect those who are envious or jealous. There are many jealous people in the dress of Vaishnava in the Krishna Consciousness movement, and they should be completely neglected. There is no need to serve a jealous person who is in the dress of a Vaishnava. When Narottam Das Thakur says, Chhariya Vaishnava Seva Nistar Payache Keva, he is indicating an actual Vaishnava, not an envious or jealous person in the dress of a Vaishnava. So I'm just, I was just confused. How can we define that who is Vaishnava and who is not envious to us?
Envious anyway.
Yes, this is actually a very important instruction of Srila Prabhupada. And we have discussed this, I believe, in one of our classes here. One should associate with pure devotees of the Lord. In Prema Bhakti Chandrika of Narottam Das Thakur, with the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti, it is mentioned that one should completely avoid association of materialists. And then it is said in the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that one should not associate with non-devotees even if in danger. And then he said we should not also associate with mixed devotees. Not only with jealous devotees, but not even with mixed devotees. So we should be very careful with whom we associate, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that association with Dharmadvajiks, so-called devotees, that they proclaim themselves as devotees, as Prabhupada here in this purport also, but they're envious and jealous, is more dangerous than association with karmis, with non-devotees. Why it's more dangerous? What do you think?
They will do offense to, because they are envious of other devotees, they will do Vaishnava Bharat, if you listen, you also.
Yes, this is one important aspect, yes, that we commit Vaishnava Aparadha. But there is also one other dimension of this. Because we should associate, of course, with devotees. And when we associate with those who are not sincere and really serious in their devotional life, then because he's a devotee, will not keep guard so carefully. Because when we associate with non-devotees, we don't take their values seriously in our life, because we know they're non-devotees, they have crazy life and so on. But these devotees have very similar values than we have, and they live by similar principles as we live. So we are not on guard so much so when we associate with devotees. So if someone is not sincere in his devotional life, his values will influence our value system also. So and they will try to find excuses for their not sincere spiritual life, and this reasoning will influence our perception. And then we may think, yes, why should be I such a fanatic? Something. No one is such a fanatic as I am. So I shouldn't be such a fanatic. I should see more purely. Or they may even quote Shastra. Yes. Prapanchi katha buddhya harisa bandhivasna mumukshubhih parityago varagam falgu katyate. So why are you such false renunciated, they will ask you. You should engage everything in service of Krishna. Yes. Once I was serving prasad in the temple. It was Ekadashi day. And there was a queue of devotees waiting for prasad, and I was serving prasad. And then I heard the conversation between two devotees. And one devotee asked another one, should we go for a pizza? And the other devotee said, but today is Ekadashi. And the first said, you shouldn't be such a fanatic. So we should be very careful not to associate with such devotees. And this is, of course, a gross example. No ordinary devotee would say such a thing. But it may be something else that will compromise our devotional life and our sincerity in devotional life. Yes. So therefore, all acharyas actually warn us very strictly about keeping away from association of not sincere devotees. And a similar example is also that association with the opposite sex is not beneficial, of course. But association with those who are attached to the opposite sex is even worse. Because their attachment will influence our heart. And also with the devotees is the same. If they are not sincere devotees, their association is worse than association of non-devotees. Yes.
So here I have getting two more questions regarding this.
Yes.
Number one is like in this particular chapter, and 16th chapter, Lord Krishna told that one of the quality of the Vaishnavas is adoshadarshi. He don't find fault in others. Then it's very natural. What about finding fault of a devotee? So how can I determine that he is envious or he is not jealous? Because I am supposed to not to see any fault of him.
Yes.
This is one question.
Yes.
And the second one is
First one question, then the other. Yes.
and it's very sensitive, to be honest, because if we are not be clear according to Shastra properly, then we may be misguided.
Yes. This is important to understand, that one should keep this adosha darshi how to say, standpoint. And this adosha darshi means that we don't seek faults with others. Like we gave this example of Shishupal. He was finding faults with Krishna all the time, 24 hours a day. So, but it's a nature of Madhyama Bhakta to discriminate. This is pure and this is not pure. This is proper, this is not proper. This is the nature of Madhyama Bhakta. So we should not artificially try to be Mahabhagavata, to see everyone as pure devotees, even demons, only ourselves as demons, because we will fall down if we take this stance of a Mahabhagavata. Yes. So, although we can see that if someone is jealous and he criticizes others, so this is the sign. If someone is criticizing others, it means he's jealous or envious personality. So stay away from such people. Don't gossip. As Lord Chaitanya instructed Raghunath Das Goswami, Gramya katha na shunnive, gramya bharta na kohibe. So don't hear gossip and don't speak gossip. This is instruction. So you can take it in this way. So if someone is gossiping, he's not good association. So I can see by this quality. But the other point is, never criticize such devotees yourself. So this is a dosha darshi for Madhyama Bhakta, or even Kanishta Bhakta. Or never criticize others, not even those who are envious of others. Of course, you shouldn't tolerate if someone is blaspheming devotees. You should either kill him or go away. Yes. And before you kill him, you cut his tongue out and then drown yourself. Kill also yourself. But if you cannot do this, just leave such devotee. Yes. So you should be very careful not to take any association of those who criticize others or blaspheme others. This is very difficult, actually. This is very difficult. So this should be our austerity, not to criticize. And it's so pleasant to criticize. Sometimes.
Chutney.
Yes, it's so pleasant to criticize. So stay away from criticism. And stay away from also others criticizing others. Yes. Hare Krishna. This is first question.
Yeah, and the second one is, I have read one quotation that was available from the Facebook page of Pune temple maybe. So there was a quotation like, when we are proud, we see others are envious. And when we are envious, we see others are proud.
Yes.
And so how can I determine that when I see someone are envious, maybe it's a trick of my mind that I am actually proud.
Yes.
So how can I determine that I am not proud?
I believe that we have answered this question also. So if we can see that someone is criticizing others, this is a sign of enviousness. So we should stay away from them. But we shouldn't cultivate this mentality, I'm better than him, because I'm not criticizing anyone. Immediately when we think like this, this is actually some kind of fall down already. I'm better, I don't criticize. He's criticizing. Because immediately I criticize in my mind.
Yes.
And if I'm criticizing in my mind, it means I'm envious also. So if he's criticizing, don't criticize such a person, not even in your mind. Yes. But stay away. Keep distance from people who criticize or gossip or blaspheme. Keep distance. Yes. But don't criticize them either. Not even in your mind. Yes.
Thank you so much. It's so nice solution.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Thank you for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Pramanandi. Please accept my bless.
Bhagavad Dharma Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna.